Welcome to our Customer Billing Requirement series. In this series, we'll dive into specific customer accounts, focusing on the requirements to successfully process loads. Our expert collector for this account will guide you through instructions, ensuring you understand the key standards needed to maintain compliance. Ensuring the requirements are met will allow for timely invoice processing and payments.
Account information. Bill 2 codes. TQLCIOH, Evans. TQLSTRG, Evans. TOTMIOHB, West. Collector, Penny Karkin. Email address, penny.karkin@evansdelivery.com. Billing guidelines. Verify the PO number and enter the 8-digit number into the Ref 1 field when billing. This PO number is provided to you on TQL's rate cons and work orders. Verify the container number is correctly listed and matches the TQL paperwork. Container numbers are usually found for import loaded on work orders. All billed charges must be labeled or described correctly. Example, listing congestion when it should be billed as detention. TQL often denies charges due to mislabeling, so this is important. Please be sure to upload required paperwork. Upload all signed documentation for the load, whether it be a POD or BOL. Upload all gate tickets or EIRs, scale tickets, street turn approvals, lumper receipts, etc. Upload rate cons or updated rate cons or email approvals to support all billed charges. Additionally, upload any other paperwork requested required to get the invoice processed for payment. Required receipts for reimbursement. To ensure reimbursement for the following charges, lumpers, scale charges, reefer fuel, etc., you must include a valid receipt with the load paperwork. No receipt equals no payment. Review rate confirmation notes. Many TQL brokers or sales teams are now including stricter billing requirements in the notes to carrier sections on the rate confirmations or work orders. Before signing any rate con and accepting a load, carefully read the notes to carrier section. Ensure your agency understands and agrees to all listed requirements. This helps avoid agent deductions due to misdocumentation or compliance issues. TQL is moving towards a single invoice policy per load or PO number. Single invoice policy means you cannot submit multiple invoices for the same load or PO number. An example, A bills for chassis usage. Consolidate all applicable charges into one invoice to ensure smooth processing and payment. Additionally, no double brokering. TQL strictly prohibits double brokering any of their loads. All loads must be handled directly by the contracted carrier or agency. Violations may result in non-payment or removal from TQL's carrier network. Upfront pricing. TQL is now requiring that final rate cons match the invoice. No additional charges will be approved for payment. When a charge arises that is not listed on the rate con, such as congestion or detention, etc., agents will need to reach out to carrier relations with an email requested for additional charges to be added to the final charges at the time the load is being run, not after load completion. TQL's carrier relations email address is carrierrelations@tql.com. That is CARRIERRELATIONS at TQL.com. If this requirement is not followed, TQL will deny payment for any charges billed above final rate con, and I, as the collector, will have nothing to use to demand payment, even if the charges are valid. Quoting charges with TQL brokers or sales teams. List all charges up front. Before accepting any lanes or loads, clearly write out all known charges. Also include all potentially applicable charges, even if they are not confirmed yet. Document negotiated charges. If any charges are negotiated with the TQL team, be sure to specify which charges were negotiated, record the agreed upon amounts, and confirm that both parties are aligned on the final terms. Quote example for load from Savannah, Georgia to Atlanta, Georgia. 40-foot, non-hazmat, non-overweight load running 249 miles. You would list your line haul at this many dollars. You would list your fuel surcharge at this percentage of line haul. If you are using daily chassis charges, it would be this amount per day, or terminal owned charges at this amount per day. Again, if you needed to use a triaxle, this amount per day. For loads that are either hazmat or overweight, you would list those amounts as well. You would also need to list any accessorials charges if applicable. For example, storage, this amount per day, starting day of outgate, but not billable for day of delivery. Congestion at this much per day. Layover at this much per day. Detention at this much per hour after X amount of free time. Lumper receipt needs to be provided. Reefer fuel receipt also needs to be provided. A chassis split at this amount of money. You need to be able to provide proof of chassis splits for TQL to pay this charge. Additionally, any other accessorial charges your agency may need to run the load. Summary. TQL doesn't want to have surprise charges when they receive our invoice. All charges listed on the invoice should have already been discussed and explicitly clearly approved by TQL before being billed. This should be in writing. Example, your agency and TQL agrees to line haul and fuel and DCC charges for a load or lane you are running. From the information you received from TQL, one of the loads you're about to run is not listed as overweight, but after outgating, the driver sees that the weight listed on the loaded outgate ticket, EIR, shows that the load is in fact overweight. You will need to email TQL's carrier relations with a copy of the loaded outgate ticket stating load is overweight and was not listed on original rate con, and to please add overweight charges to the approved charges and final rate con.
Prepull. TQL is no longer paying for prepulls. They are getting rid of this label billing charge. TQL wants a base rate without having some of the charges broken down. Agents will have to add, weave any prepull amounts they would normally bill separately into the line haul fuel charge. The upside for agents with TQL getting rid of prepull means first day of storage should be able to be billed going forward instead of it being included in the prepull charge already. Please check with the TQL broker sales team you are working with to verify the accuracy of this.
Adjust on line haul to include prepull charges. This example serves as a reference only. Old quote, line haul, $400. Fuel surcharge, $128, which is 32% of the line haul. Prepull, $125. Old quote total, $653. New quote, which weaves prepull into the line haul charge, $525. Fuel surcharge, $168, which is still 32% of the line haul. New quote total, $693. Agents may need to adjust the line haul rate up further when including prepull charges. Each agency should review and determine a feasible amount based on driver compensation, operational costs, and market conditions. Chassis. TQL will not be paying any A bills going forward, which means agents will need to count the exact number of days for usage and bill accordingly on the original haul invoice. When in doubt, bill it out. It would be more cost effective for agents to be deducted any chassis overpayments instead of having to pay 100% of the chassis charges that Evans pays for the usage and unable to dispute and receive credit. Additionally, agents will need to verify with the broker or sales team at TQL on whether TQL's customer is a direct bill pay customer with the steamship line for the chassis usage. This information should be included in the notes section on each load in the agent portal. Identify direct bill agreements. Agents should note which steamship lines or pool chassis providers the TQL customer has a direct bill agreement with. This documentation is crucial for disputing charges if Evans is billed via the chassis team. Reviewing charges in Equipment Console. If Evans does get billed for chassis usage, agents should click Dispute instead of Bill to Customer when reviewing the charges. This ensures the charge is flagged for internal review rather than passed on to the customer. Timeliness matters. Disputes should be initiated as early as possible. Prompt action helps ensure Evans stays within the allowable dispute window with steamship lines chassis providers. This proactive approach should lead to fewer deductions for chassis usage.
How to avoid being claimed for demurrage by TQL. Demurrage claims. Demurrage is the service failure of not outgating an imported container on or before its last free day. Anytime the last free day is missed, the container goes on a storage hold, and TQL or their customer clears those charges. And it becomes highly likely that TQL will send us a demurrage claim to recoup those charges, since 90% of the claims I've received are for demurrage. What can you do to avoid or lessen the chances of being claimed for demurrage? 1. Outgate the container on or before its last free day. 2. Note on the work order when the last free day is and who notified you of that date. Also note what date you accepted the load. Upload this work order to the file for easy reference if ever needed in the future. 3. Upload any email chains relating to the completion of the load when TQ or their customer clears storage charges after the stated last free day. 4. Discuss with TQL at the time the load is being run who will be responsible for those charges, if outgating after stated last free day. When in doubt, upload all email chains which will stay on file with the load and will be available for easy reference in the event a claim does happen. Lastly, respond to claims emails you receive as soon as possible after receiving them. This provides the best opportunity to be able to locate any documentation to dispute the validity of the claim.
TQLSTRG. TQLSTRG bill to code is only for storage invoices. And the vendor invoicing requirements are: invoices must be sent in a PDF format. Invoices must include itemized breakdown that matches the project rate confirmation. Invoices must include any BOLs, PODs, or project rate confirmation. Invoices must include the invoice number. Invoices must include all TQL PO numbers associated. For example, TQL PO number equals 1 transaction. It is very common or likely to have multiple TQL PO numbers associated with one project. If unknown, please connect with your warehouse and rep. Vendor invoicing requirements continued. Invoices for recurring monthly storage must include full inventory report from the previous month, including in, out, and on hand. Monthly statement of all open invoices emailed to v2@tql.com. Any statements or questions sent to warehouseinvoices@tql.com will not be reviewed. We do not accept consolidated invoices. We do not accept backdated charges post 60 days. Revised invoices must have original invoice number with a B at the end. An example, ABC 123456-B.
I would like to thank the collector for taking the time to share the customer's billing requirements with us today. Remember, consistency in the following customer billing requirements is key to success. To stay on track with customer requirements, it's helpful to assign specific tasks to specific team members. This ensures everything gets done correctly and on time. Using the same process across your office helps everyone stay consistent and avoid mistakes. Some customers send out weekly scorecards to show how well you're meeting their expectations for real-time updates, accuracy, and consistency. If you need help with anything on your scorecard, feel free to reach out to Lisa Snyder. Lisa can help you create a plan to improve your scores and stay in compliance. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to watch our webinar. We hope the tips shared today will help streamline your billing practices. Please do not hesitate to reach out to any member of the training team if you have any questions. Their email address is listed below. And again, thank you for watching and have a great day.